Pay me my money. I need my money, plain and simple.
Furious, devastated, the woman says she's been waiting on the village of Dolton to send her a check for missing payments for months. The owner showed us these invoices, which she says are unpaid, saying she had to tap into her savings to keep her business afloat.
It's all depleted now. So now we're in a complete rut now, and they don't even understand the positions that they have put us in.
Yep, that part.
Hi you guys, welcome back. So I know it's old news by now that Tiffany Henyard is no longer the mayor of Dolton, Illinois, despite her personal projections for her longevity in the seat.
I will forever be your mayor. I will forever be your supervisor, and I'm coined as the super mayor.
And even though she hasn't been in the seat for some time now, that doesn't stop her from wreaking havoc on the village. This lady right here is a vendor, or was a vendor, with the village of Dolton, and she was hired on during the Tiffany Henyard administration.
You have been hoodwinked. You've been bamboozled. You've been led astray.
She says she hasn't received 4 months of payment, which equal to a total of $12,800.
The agreement was we work twice a day, once on Saturdays, and the payment was $3,200 per month.
Now she says she is in jeopardy of losing her cleaning business. Shania Will Newick was proud to support the village of Dolton and its police officers. She says her cleaning company, T&T Cleaning Solutions, was hired in 2023 to clean Dolton's police department under former Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration. The owner says the first 5 months were great. They were paid on time by the village in full. But then she says payment stopped.
Not even an email sent, not even partial payment, nothing. Just no answer at all. It's just devastating.
She says the village owes her 4 payments, totaling $12,800.
So upon watching this news segment, I had to stop and really look at these invoices so I could get the dates and see which ones were not paid. So let's go ahead and break this down. And while I break down these invoice due dates, I will cross-compare them to the Dolton board meeting dates and see if this woman ever came up to talk to the board or the mayor during any of the board meetings to address this unpaid bill issue. Because one would think that if she is owed all this money, she would surely come to at least one board meeting so she could apply some pressure that might help speed up the process, or at the very least give her some answers as to why she wasn't getting paid. Okay, so let's start with the first bill she says wasn't paid. So this bill date was a little difficult to see, but I'm pretty sure it says 3/23/2024, and it says that it was not paid. Now let's take a look at the board meetings that came after this bill due date and see if she ever showed up to any of them asking about why she was never paid.
But you guys got to connect the dots. DOTTS. Dots.
So this is the Mr. Dots meeting, and I later found out that Dots stand for Democrats of Thornton Township, so he gets a pass for that. But otherwise, you guys, if you don't know who this guy is, his name is Michael Smith, and he was one of Tiffany Henyard's cronies, and he always went hard for her. And thank goodness he's not holding any seats in government as of right now. But let's move on, because this board meeting took place on 4/1/2024, and I'm just putting up all the people who went up for citizens address, and as you can see, the vendor lady is nowhere to be found, so she did not come to this board meeting and ask about her payments. All right, so let's move on to the board meeting after that, because maybe she was busy, you know, maybe she wanted to give them more time to give her payment. So then this board meeting took place 5/6/2024. And once again, I went through all the people who got up there for citizens address, and the vendor lady was nowhere to be found once again. So after not getting paid, she didn't show up to any of those board meetings. So this next bill we're going to look at was from 5/23/2024. And as we can see, she's alleging that it was not paid either. So I don't drag this out too much. I looked at the board meeting from 6/3/2024, from 7/1/2024, and from 8/5/2024. And so far, she had not shown up to any of those board meetings. All right. So then there was another bill that came out, and that was from 8/23/2024. Now here, I couldn't see if it was paid or not because of the way the news displayed these bills, but I'm assuming that she is claiming that this was one of the bills she didn't get paid for. So then I was thinking, wait, the trustees had meetings at the park district as well.
Then they turn around and have a secret squirrel meeting at the park district.
So I went to the board meeting on 9/12/2024, and look who we run into. Now, some of you may know who she is, but if you don't, this woman's name is Cassandra Hobson Jordan, and she threw her hat in the race for mayor as well. Needless to say, she did not win, and thank goodness she didn't win. She's basically a Tiffany Henyard on steroids, okay? And you guys, to give you an example, I'm going to show you a little video of a side-by-side comparison of her and Tiffany Henyard talking, and you'll be able to see some of the same mannerisms, the same speech, and the just overall disrespectful nature that they exhibit. Let's watch.
You should be glad someone is running for mayor and giving you an option and trying to help build this village back up.
You should be glad that you have a mayor that looks the part, plays the part, and acts the part.
You should be glad someone is running, because I'm going to continue to be producing my videos. I'm going to continue to be producing receipts.
So I will state facts. I will show receipts.
I'm going to continue to be producing receipts. And the sad part about it is, it's a lot of you seniors.
I never seen so much hatred, so much mess amongst older people in my life.
You can't even respect them for the way they act. This is ridiculous. Women in their 60s and 70s just acting a flat-out nut, acting a flat-out fool.
You guys are older than me. Y'all should never be acting like that.
So yeah, you guys, Dolton dodged a bullet with her. Thank goodness they saw right through her and didn't even give her the time of day. But back to this meeting, because as you guys can see, I went through all the public speakers once again, and the vendor lady did not show up to this one either. Let's move on to the next meeting. And now we're at the meeting that was held on 10/7/2024. So far from the first bill I showed you guys, which I believe said 3/23/2024, it's been about 7 months, okay? Not quite, but just about, that she has not been paid for those months. But do you think she showed up to that board meeting? No, she didn't show up to that one either. So let's move on to this last bill, which was due on 10/23/2024, and it says that one wasn't paid either. Let's go on to this last board meeting, and I'm pretty sure you guys can guess. Yes, ding, 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 ding. She finally shows up.
I am a vendor here in Dolton. I'm not a resident. I was previously cleaning the police department. I'm here because we are owed 4 months of pay. Even when we weren't getting paid, we still showed up each and every day to do our job.
So I've racked my brain over and over, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why someone would continue to do a job for the same person or the same entity when they haven't gotten paid for several months of their service. I mean, if you don't pay me for what I'm owed, I am done with you. I have too many bills and responsibilities to be out here volunteering, okay? So after listening to this lady say she continued to work after not being paid, it led me to a couple of reasons as to why someone might not come forward and demand payment. And one of them is maybe they've been getting paid under the table and they don't want to draw attention to themselves or the person they've been working for. Another reason could be someone kept promising them that they would eventually get paid, so that's why they stayed on and waited for that large pay date. Either way, I don't think it's good business sense or just good common sense to carry on like that. And so one of the other reasons I feel this could have happened is that Tiffany and company went rogue and gave this woman a contract without the board's approval. I know you guys are like, no, she always does things above board. How dare you accuse her of such things? I know it's hard to believe, but maybe she did that, you guys. So this lady is not the only vendor who came up and addressed the board and Tiffany about not getting paid. Let's take a look at this guy right here. This is someone who came into the village, did some work, because Mayor Tiffany Henyard gave him the green light to do so, even though there was never an RFP presented for the work that he was going to be doing with the village.
I don't reside in Dolton, but I am a contractor who works in Dolton. I'm the owner of S&S Lawn Service. I met the mayor out when I was in the field, and she asked me to do a job for her. And when I rode around Dolton, I knew that job needed to be done right away. So I stopped what I was doing. All my clients in the city that I stay in and came out here and took care of 160 properties in 2 weeks.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem if you decided to take on that large task without any type of contract that was approved by the Board of Trustees, sir. And it sounds like Tiffany Henyard just went rogue and went ahead and hired this guy and let him do whatever he wanted and guaranteed him that he was going to get paid no matter what.
And if this my whole entire route don't get done, it get done every 2 weeks, 160 properties. If you go down my whole route, I know some of these residents and seeing a lot of these buildings, a lot of these streets that was messed up. These houses are done. The residents that's asked, the trees is all in their gutters, I cut them. And I cut them for a little bit of nothing. But the fact is that I seen that last board meeting and I seen that we were taken out of getting paid. That wasn't the right thing to do.
I beg to differ, sir. Yes, it absolutely was the right thing for the board to do. What wasn't the right thing to do was for him to just come up in the village and start performing tasks just on the mayor's word, when the board is the one that protects the purse, right?
So if this town is bankrupt in 6 months or 10 months, who's gonna get the blame? Us.
And then that's why they have processes like RFPs to know who's getting paid for what, how much they're getting paid. He said he came in and did it for a little bit of nothing.
I cut him, and I cut him for a little bit of nothing.
What is a little bit of nothing? He's not even saying the amount. He obviously hadn't talked to any of the board members. So you guys, as we can see, this is why the RFP process is so important, because Mayor Tiffany Henyard was doing things like this, and that's why they have those type of things in place, so that people don't abuse the system and just bring in whoever they want and pay them whatever they want.
When a person does a job, regardless of what your situation is, you're supposed to pay that bill. That's how that goes. The mayor asked me to do a job and I didn't get paid, and I still did my 160 properties.
But as we can see, she didn't go by any rules anyway, so it really didn't matter to her.
I just think we deserve to get paid. That's all I'm here for. I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm not here to call nobody out or anything like that. I just come here to say I did a job, and I did the job when I didn't get paid, so I think I deserve to get paid.
So I know some people might be like, well, they did work after all, so why doesn't the board just pay them? Well, there's something called an RFP process that Tiffany and Co., they were not following. And so if they don't follow that process, then they're not being fair or transparent about who they're allowing to come into the village to do certain jobs. They're not being transparent or fair about what they're paying that person.
And I cut them for a little bit of nothing.
So in the case of the vendor lady who was hired to clean the police department, it sounds like maybe they just went ahead and gave her the job, and there wasn't an open bidding process to see if there were other companies out there who were more qualified for the job or who could do the job. So that could be the underlying issue as to why she was never getting paid, because they didn't follow that RFP process. And when I say they, I mean Tiffany and Co. And Tiffany Henyard is well aware of this process. She just totally ignored it and never did it while she was the mayor. And to give an example of her knowledge on this process, we're going to look at trustee Tiffany Henyard. And you guys, this is going back all the way to 2014. So we definitely know that she was not ignorant to this process, but she just chose to ignore it. So let's listen to trustee Tiffany Henyard requesting the RFP process.
Next on my list is I would like to have a RFP, which stands for Request for a Proposal for a Board of Companies. Again, Mr. Urban, can you have the lease or someone from your staff write up the RFP for a Board of Companies?
So if you didn't understand what she was saying, she was asking for an RFP for a board up company. Basically a company to come in there and board up all the abandoned houses that are in Dolton. I just wanted to highlight her asking for this RFP because she knows that this is a very important part if you want to be transparent as far as who's coming into the village to get contracts with the village and work with the village. Okay, I think I've talked about that enough. I think you guys know what it is by now. So let's go ahead and get back to this vendor lady and let's listen to her addressing the board and Mayor Tiffany Henyard about her payments.
We just want what is due to us. We have worked as a vendor. We give our time, our work ethic, and everything. But we can't work for free. I have watched previous board meetings, Mayor, where you have stated that the vendors shouldn't be working for free, that they should get paid, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to get what is due to us. Thank you.
Okay, basically she came up, she didn't get paid. She wants to know when she's going to get paid. Let's listen to the responses. We're going to listen to Trustee Jason House, who is now the mayor of Dolton. At the time, he was still a trustee. We're going to listen to his response to this lady, and then we're going to listen to Mayor Tiffany Henyard's response. I'm sure you guys know the responses are going to be quite different. So we'll hear Trustee Jason House's response first.
Lastly, but definitely not least, I heard one individual come up here talking, referencing their bills. And right now we are working towards a budget. We mentioned that the board has received the draft budget and there are a lot of challenges with that budget. That being said, it is a task that we still must face. So we are continuing to work on a way that we can get our budget that will allow for back bills to be paid as well. We will honor all vendors that are paid. I have to say it is going to be a challenging process. For those who are owed money, I am asking that you email first to the village administrator, Keith Freeman, with a copy to myself, jhouse@vodalton.org. And we will make sure that we continue to provide updated statuses of where the bills are to be paid. And as time allows, we will be making payments as our budget is processed and we have a better footing on where we're going.
So Jason House explained that they are in the process of working on a budget, and that in doing so, they are working on a budget that will allow them to pay back bills. He said that even though it's going to be challenging, that they're going to pay the vendors what they're due. Now, the little part that I don't agree with is when he instructed the vendors to email Keith Freeman. When we know the history of Keith the Thief Freeman and how he should have never been hired on with the village in the first place.
This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Let's listen to the smart people. Somebody, for God's sakes, listen to the smart people. Come on, let's be smarter than that. This is not just the price is right.
He was someone who should have never had access to the Dolton tax dollars. But he was also someone that Tiffany Henyard hired on without the board's approval and without a proper background check.
This is not the correct way to do it. We found out about him when we got the agenda. We talked to him on Sunday for 20 minutes. Again, no background check was given, even though we implemented. This was not brought across the board the right way. So if you do it the correct way, Mayor, which you know how to do, because you complained about it heavy for 8 years, you're doing it wrong. You cannot just force this on. You have to work with your board, Mayor. You have to work with your board.
All I'm asking is to stop doing that. Go before the body and get your approval. That's it. That's it. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm done.
Remember that statement that you said over and over again? You have to learn to work with the board, period.
You guys saying we didn't do processes right. That's not true.
I just want to make sure I'm really clear on this one. During my interview with Mr. Freeman, as well as Ms. McGraw, I asked the question, was a background check done and when were we moving forward? Trustee Norwood was there with me as well. And at the time, Mr. Freeman indicated, no, thank you.
Well, just so you know, he do have a background pending now, so you can know that the background is being done.
A background was done today. Anybody that's hired for any position anywhere does not start until the background comes back eligible. And the process this year that we all agreed on some time ago is that we will run background checks. And once that background check comes back eligible, he's good to go. So let's follow that process moving forward.
Okay, well, I thank everybody. So once his background come back, y'all let me know. We can have a special meeting and move forward. But until then, he will be starting here in the village of Dolton. So thank everybody for your comments.
Whatever, I do what I want.
Now, I'm not even going to go into the whole situation of Keith the Thief Freeman, but if you guys have been watching the story long enough, you know the deal with Keith Freeman. Now, even though I don't agree with Jason putting Keith's name out there as a reliable source of getting information to the village, I do understand that at this time he was still a trustee, and so he still had to go by the chain of command and follow proper procedure. Jason also mentioned that the vendor can CC him on the email, and he gave out his own email address as well, so that was good. Overall, I feel like Jason House's response to the vendor's concerns was respectful and informative. Now, let's listen to Tiffany Henyard's response.
Vendors, a lot of y'all come to the podium and y'all talk about things that you got no concrete evidence of. When you spoke about you're not getting paid and y'all addressed the mayor's the one that's always trying to pay everyone. I am not the one holding up paying you as a vendor. I'm not the one that did not put you on the warrant list / bills list.
So as we could see, Tiffany lashed out at the vendor lady, accusing her of blaming the mayor and saying she's the only one who always fought for the vendors to get paid. Now, in my opinion, I did not get the feeling that the lady was addressing Tiffany in an accusatory manner, or that she was trying to put all the responsibility on Tiffany. I got the feeling that the vendor lady was trying to be respectful by addressing the whole body who was up there and present at the time.
I have watched previous board meetings, Mayor, where you have stated that the vendors shouldn't be working for free, that they should get paid.
Because one thing they told me to let you know, from my attorneys to the guy that you guys voted for to Poda Concrete, DJ, what they tell me to tell them? Every single resident, pay me what you owe me.
And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to get what is due to us. Thank you.
Now, I do have to add that while this little interaction between Tiffany Henyard and the vendor lady may look like Tiffany is upset with the vendor by accusing her of calling out the mayor during her speech, I also had to look at the situation from another perspective. Because you always have to check both sides of the coin when dealing with people like Tiffany Henyard, okay? You see, she's one of those double-headed coin type of people who always have some little trick up their sleeve and will act like she's doing one thing, and you might not catch on to what she's really doing unless you pay close attention and ask the right questions and dig a little deeper. So as I was saying, another way we could look at this interaction is that maybe the vendor lady and Tiffany were in cahoots with each other, and they wanted to give the appearance that neither of them had any type of previous agreements that gave this vendor business with the village and a contract to clean the police station. And that's just my speculation on the matter, you guys, because it's been proven time and time again that Tiffany Henyard would go rogue, spend money, and hire people just because she thought it was a good decision or it might benefit her personally. All right, now let's get back to this news interview with the vendor lady, because there's some more things in here that I wanted to address.
I felt like you could get the story out. I saw what you did with previous issues and you handled it. You got it taken care of. So that's why I reached out to you.
I reached out to the village of Dolton, and a spokesperson responded saying in part, quote, "The village of Dolton is aware of the vendor's claims and recognizes that this, along with several other agreements, originated under the direction of the former mayor and administration. As we continue to navigate the aftermath of the previous administration, we are actively working to sort through these outstanding commitments."
Do you feel for the mayor who has so much to unpack and unravel and rectify in the village of Dolton?
No, not at all. Because when you take on tenure from a previous mayor, you take on whatever they had brought to the table and whatever is left. You have to rectify those situations. So no.
So what I found interesting in what she said in response to the news lady asking her, hey, do you feel like, do you feel for the new mayor, meaning Jason House, and all these responsibilities he has to take on? And she's like, no. However, the previous mayor left the village in whatever situation it's in. It's your responsibility to clean it up. Which, yes, it is his responsibility and his team's, because he took on that role. But at the same time, when Tiffany Henyard got into the new position and she was just acting a hot mess, some people, some of her supporters, did not want to hold her accountable, even though she had been a trustee for 8 years and she knew full well of how to run things right. She just chose to run them her way. And a lot of her way was the wrong way.
I'm a Dolton's resident. I'm from Chicago, but I've been here about 7 years. And no, Miss Tiffany, I never met you, but I think you are a queen, and I'm here to crown you, okay? Now, I don't know who these people is, but they've been leaving stuff on my door, so that's why I'm here fresh off the clock. They've been leaving stuff on my door, and I'm starting to take it as harassment. I'm Team Tiffany. I think you're doing an excellent job. So I commend you, and I take my hat off to you. And to everybody up there, teamwork make the dream work. And it's all about respecting the chain of command. You have to respect your chain of command. You have to give respect to get respect. I think you've done a tremendous job. I see a lot of stuff that you do posted all over social for kids, women, and the seniors and stuff like that. Give her a chance. Nothing happens overnight.
Just FYI, this meeting took place June 6, 2022, but she had already been in office since May 8, 2021. So that's a little over a year. Needless to say, she had ample time to adjust and do the right things, but we know that wasn't going to happen, right?
Teamwork makes the dream work. Stop trying to be the big I over the little T. It's just that simple. You know me, Mr. Holmes, don't you? And he's a good guy. I personally know him.
Well. That comment certainly didn't age well, all right? Because if you've been following this Tiffany Henyard thing for a while now, you know that Andrew Holmes was accused of some pretty egregious acts. So this lady is going to proceed to give Tiffany Henyard a crown and stroke her ego.
I'm just saying, so I can't, can I give you this crown?
Oh, yeah, come on. You give a crown me. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna adjust my crown, sit on my throne just for you, baby. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Now with ridiculous displays like this, can we really be surprised why her confidence level was so high and why she just thought she had everything on lock? They wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, right? But as we see, it's not the same with Mayor Jason House. And that's okay, because I honestly feel like he's better equipped to handle the pressure and morally sound to make the right decisions in the interest of the citizens of Dolton.
The Village of Dolton told me they have started a process of securing an outside firm to assist with organizing and verifying pending vendor payments and contracts. The Village telling me this evening that they have been in communication with the cleaning company and remain committed to finding a resolution that is both fair and fiscally responsible. I did reach out to former Mayor Tiffany Henyard. She did not respond to my request for comment.
Riding around and get it. Riding around and get it.
So the Village basically has to sort through everything. They have to figure out what claims are legit, you know, who was hired when and why. It's just a whole mess, all right? So they have to take their time and verify. They can't just start doling out money, because if they did that, anybody could just come out the woodworks and say, hey, I did this and I'm owed this.
Money, please.
So needless to say, Jason House is making the right decisions already during his time as mayor of Dolton. Well, you guys, that's going to be it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave it a like, and if you're new here, subscribe.
So when I speak up here, sometimes people have to listen. All the hate blocks the listening ear. You have to listen to both sides.
Anytime somebody speaks that fast, watch your wallet. And that's what's going on here now. Residents, I will say again, this deficit is real. We have troubles. Watch your wallet when people are talking that fast. That concludes my comments.